He coming. Bill's trying to like procrastinate, and then people got mad. It's like, you was trying to scam us. No, Donnie really got on the wrong.
Good morning. What's up? You like to the Big Frank in the morning? It's going down. Do me a favor. Share, subscribe, like, subscribe, and share. Tell your mama, tell your friend, your auntie, them all that. It's going down. Listen, do me a favor. We got Councilman Dante Miles with us this morning. Josh, the architect, is Kev on air, as well as with Daniel, the Dark Knight, and my homegirl. Y'all know Jay Cherie in the building. We just want to share real quick, guys. Tag your neighbor, tag your friend. We're not going to delay, but we can be
delayed in a moment.
Fact.
So true.
You got to take, because let me just do my due diligence. Give me one moment and let me
see how we sound. Okay, we good? Tag all your peoples on the live. Tag his mama. Is she actually up?
I came by. Yeah. I seen that she listened to the radio. I came by earlier. I know you are.
So we're gonna really jump right in. One more song to go, but our conversation. The reason why I got Dante on here this morning was because over the weekend, over last week, we're dealing with a tragedy in Buffalo. There's been some behavior from the people that's just not sitting well. I talked to you guys about it before. I'm just gonna bring it up again. I went to the prayer visual, and what I saw was a lot of older folks who have been in the city doing stuff for a long time. But it's like, where's the people full of strength to execute the next phase? Then I went to another event where I thought we were going to have a deep conversation about what was going on, but they had a backroom meeting, and then we did a photo op. And the city of Niagara Falls is in a place of desperate need, but we're not being tended to. And we're going to get into all that in just a few seconds. Just a few seconds. What I want to do. Yeah. Well, that's up now, so it's fine. How y'all feeling this morning? How y'all feeling? Y'all good?
Really good. I never been
No.
What is this song really about?
This song is about not knowing the love that was like before. That's all. Don't try to let
move on. This might be a valid.
Don't do Mary like that.
This is never experience.
Don't do Mary Evans like that. She only got so many hits.
She must just eliminated.
He's eliminated. We were like, gotta hold on to what we got.
Oh yeah, she
new. This new.
This mother you find out who that person really is.
Right.
It's just.
Baby.
You find out. She got dirty shoes. She stank. She got an attitude problem. There's a lot going on in your life.
That's what this is. This is Biggie before the cheating. Yeah, this is before he was cheating with Kevin.
We'll take this out at in a minute, 30 seconds. We'll just figure out.
I went to on Saturday. I went to this one event. Something at like 10:30. And it wasn't what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
It was like there was some yoga stuff going on.
Yeah, it was like a meditation situation.
And I was like, okay, this isn't what I thought.
Yeah, because I think that now I believe I'm a pray. I pray. Okay, prayer is what I do. So I keep praying. I love the prayer, but there's another step. After you petition the Father and you believe that something's going to change, there's something called work.
Right.
And the work isn't what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
Granted to those, being assets to the community, but there's work required for the transition that we're asking for from God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just being who I am. 2 seconds ago, somebody prayed for God to show up. God show up and move. But then you weren't willing to praise. So you really wanted to move. Because the equation is if you praise him, he'll show up and you move. You can't make the petition and not do the work required.
Right.
At this point, you got to pray, and without the fervent, effectual prayer of the righteous availeth much, you got to pray and be fervent in your prayer.
Right.
Believe your prayer, but you got to show, you got to work.
Right.
Put some pressure in. You got to be present. Don't be hollering from the mountaintop and never come down and do no work. So Don't get me started. We just started.
Did you get some
It's
sleep
only-
last
it's
night?
only
He got extra energy.
Listen. We're about to get it in. It's coming up right after this. Oh, we're here right now.
Yeah, 30
Right.
seconds.
Fire 716, your boy Big Frank. You're locked into Big Frank in the morning. What it is, what's up? I pray all is well with you. Listen, it's going down this morning. Listen, call your neighbor, call your friend, call your auntie them. It is happening right here, right now. And you know, normally you got an introduction, but I'm gonna just go ahead and run through it real quick. In the room is my homegirl Jay Sheree.
In the building.
My boy the Dark Knight is in the room. Kevin Air is in the building. Josh the architect is in the room. If you don't know now, you know. But we have a special guest today, Councilman Dante Miles. What's up? So listen, he's in the room today. It's really going down. I'm excited, and we're not gonna belabor the moment because this time is limited and very precious. So we're gonna dive right into the situation at hand.
Yeah.
Just to give you a quick little background, prior to Dante Miles becoming a councilman, he has been a vocal piece for, I believe it's called the 4th Ward.
Yeah.
If you will. Yeah, here in Niagara Falls, which is like, for those who are from Buffalo, this is like the project areas, where we reside. Underserved.
Yeah.
And he has been a mouthpiece of change and just a pushing of an agenda to really aid to us coming up and coming out. And he was blessed with, I won't call everything a blessing off the rip. He was privileged to be able to now occupy a seat. And let's get, how's that going?
Man, listen, it's a fight.
Yeah.
It's a straight fight. Like literally, it's 80. I always tell people it's 85% of everything that I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And the 15%, it was not a whole lot that's new. It's just a rabbit hole a lot deeper than what I expected to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, it's really it's a lack from both ends.
Yeah.
People and from government. And
Gotcha.
that's what a fight is.
Got you. And let's deal with it. We are now I believe 9 days
Yeah.
from the tragedy that just took place on this past week, and there's been a lot of prayer visuals and people doing help, and I give credit to those who are doing all the work out there. I'm not going to destroy all of you this morning, but there's people who are legit doing the work, and with that being a food desert, they're bringing in food to help. Side note, Tops does open back up, I believe 20 today, I think.
Really?
I think Tops open back up right. I think it was today. I think I read something like that. But I could be wrong, but it's opening up soon. But there have been a few things based off Niagara Falls, even in Buffalo, has been more photo op-ish than it's been change and real work and real pressure. And I want to get into that conversation, if you will. Number one, what are your thoughts on just the tragedy at hand and its response?
Well, one, I know it hit me super hard. It got to the point where I was just like, trying to understand as a Black man in America, trying to understand that, like, what we have to deal with on a daily basis, waking up and going to sleep. And when you see that, it was demonic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Fact.
It was racism, it was terrorism, and it was all of that because this man didn't know these people from like a can of paint. What I'm saying? So I think for somebody to do that, and I think the response, there's two responses that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the response of the people, especially leadership in Black in our Black areas here. I speak for, and I'm looking at the response of people who consider this young man a hero. So
wow,
it's so many, it's different responses, and I hate, like I said a lot. I don't mind being aware, but I hate being on guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's real.
I've been, since this happened, I've been on guard. I've been in my car and I've been eyeing white people, and I have you know what I mean, nothing against.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you, like, after that, and you see the response, I'm looking at people different now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this little punk put a battery pack in your back, and are you gonna be? Could you possibly be the next one looking at me and my son and my kid like you want to do something?
No, that's real because, like I said, that Sunday after, I was at the gas station and I second guess getting out of my car just because I seen the white guy, and it's like, God, I know I shouldn't live like that. I don't have hatred towards them, but I am very cautious. Like, are you about to be spicy and make that move?
How do you feel about the petition that they started to actually shut that Tops down and turn it into a memorial for the Buffalo 10?
Well, the problem is that that's the only station, the only area that they have for. Again, I guess Al Sharpton alluded, which made us, I understand. He was like, well, why is it the fact that this is the only, especially where our black leaders, when this is the only shopping center in this area, in that whole area. Right. So shutting it down, you know what I mean? I know it's gonna be tough for a lot of people, you know what I mean? I mean, and I can't speak on that because I don't live there, so I wouldn't, because some people might feel some kind of way.
I was reading the comments. I was reading the comments about it, and I lived with my aunt in that area, so that was a Tops that we frequent a lot. And I basically said, if you don't live in the area, I feel like you don't need to have a contribution to this conversation.
Right.
But a lot of people from Buffalo were agreeing, like, yeah, let's shut it down, let's honor them this way. And I'm like, but the 10 people that lost their lives there were people who, a lot of them were avid community, in the community. So I don't think their wish would have been to close the Tops, but it's got like a lot of signatures to shut it down.
Yeah, I think that shut it down number is dumb.
Yeah,
for sure. Because of the fact that this is
the main place.
And watch it. You want to talk poverty? Let's talk access.
Yeah,
it's easier to catch the 24 to an 18. Yeah. Now if you're not in Buffalo, you don't know these numbers. That easy access points to get here. Yeah. So move this anywhere else or make it inconvenient is not smart. Now you can do a memorial. You can have a location in there. We're gonna honor the 10. Okay, this is the honor 10 section. I don't know what you can do, but to shut it down is just not the wisest choice. Yeah, sure. Now you respond out of your feelings or your emotions, and no, they need this because though they're in the process of developing another location, not a Tops, but just another place downtown. But once again, that's not as easy accessible on the bus line, if you will, either. So I think that you have to have a greater. If you're not in the city, you don't know the area. You don't know the effect of this location.
Right.
I lived down the street for a long time. For those who know my refuge life, that was the go-to spot. It's right there. That's the best fried chicken and pound cake. They do the extra. They do the extra. I know what Tops require, but they do the extra. There is something that you said that leadership, and I want to get into a conversation about leadership and their role. And listen, to get to this part of the conversation, you have to follow us on Facebook and on YouTube right now. Leave the app real quick, go on Facebook because I'm about to get into it, and I just might get aggressive. Listen, it's going down. It's Big Frank in the morning. When we get back, we get into Bigger Chronicles right on fire. 716, your boy Big Frank. Let's go. Let's get it. So,
am I supposed to hear something in this when we talking?
You hear them?
Oh, okay.
It was like light music playing.
Well, no, hold on.
It's real loud.
Okay, let me try. What is he, 3?
Yeah.
Is that better? Is it still loud?
You can turn the music down a little. It just did a little.
Just switch back.
It's gonna be tricky because
it was.
No, so that wasn't it that you're supposed to pull it out a little bit?
Yeah, you're supposed to
that
pull it
was
out.
fine.
Hey, you want to put it on? Nope.
Is he 4?
No, when you had jiggled it before.
This one?
No, the like you can tell this.
You're gonna hear it in one ear.
No, I don't hear it. I'll let you hear it.
Yeah,
I don't know what this song.
If you did know what this song was about.
It's like I remember somebody was trying to explain to me.
Well, I see the video, guy, no shirt on.
All right, so on this is my thing. All right, we had the tragedy. Keep the tops. And I'm going to talk directly Niagara Falls. And I'll take this, and they might kick me off. I keep saying this. I just joined the board of the Ministerial Council last month. And I'm seeing a lot of their faces in the face of tragedy, but I don't see their faces outside of this. I haven't, I know these people individually, but I don't see them having a consistent, active effort in the community. And now that there's a tragedy, now we come together, we're presenting stuff like we're doing it, but it's like, wait a minute, where y'all been at?
Yeah.
All this time, like where's your presence? And I think that something that I just noticed, and this has been our life for a long time, is that some of our highest position is clergy. As a Black, no, we don't have. We're not chief of police. We're not there. I think Councilman, he just took a seat, and then for a minute it looked like something else for a short, and before that we had some people in between. But it's like our highest place of authority has been clergy.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's the case, no shot to you. We have a responsibility to our community that I'm not seeing done consistently.
Right.
And that now that we're here, like the prayer we went to. Yeah. I'm just happy to be who I am. If y'all don't like me, just pull up.
Be Frank. It's Big Frank in the morning.
Right. No, facts.
Your station.
We went to a church on Hyde Park in Hyde Park or something. On Hyde Park, and
that was very intentional.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you.
And I arrived, and those who are part of the council, the other members, are in the church sitting, waiting to have a conversation about what's going on, what's happening. Mm-hmm. Then we get wind that they're having a meeting in the back room for the news. Mm-hmm. So it's about 2 or 3 of them individuals having a meeting, and I'll bring this up in our meeting when we talk next month, having a conversation that doesn't include us that's in the room.
Gotcha.
Somebody then goes back there and say, hey, y'all coming out? They say to us, yeah, we're gonna come out with the hope that we're gonna come out and have a conversation. No,
not happening.
When they come out, we all end up getting the instruction to go outside, to stand on the stoop, and select individuals have a moment of expression and a moment to pray. But there was no dialogue in conversation. Our mayor pulled up, but there's no dialogue in conversation. They read this paper, they miss some people on the lineup to say something. We had to try to fix that quickly, but there's no dialogue. There's no plan of action. It's a written paper with a pre-notion set up, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. This is not what I came here for.
Right.
I came in to have a conversation and put pressure on people. Because, like I said, the praying is great. This has to be a work required. Mm-hmm. And it means that we're just discussing the after, like, this is not what, I don't need no more photo ops. Right. No more photo ops. I need to have the work to be done.
Showing your faith by your works.
No fact.
It was the aggravating part is that even when we seen them coming out, there wasn't even much engagement. Yeah. Like they were just walking past, we sitting there like, okay, so what's going on? And it's like, all right, we're going out to the porch and we're going out and that's what it is.
Morning, Julian.
Yeah, it's I think that's the agitating part. Mm-hmm. One of the agitating parts, but that whole I didn't even expect it to be where it was because for me, I'd rather it had been in a park or somewhere outside because what happened is it becomes, they use that moment to advertise.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care about these buildings and stuff these church buildings and stuff. I grew up in church. I don't want people to think that I'm anti.
I know we your mama is.
But the true story is that my whole walk and my whole spirit my journey looks a lot different.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I've embraced it. And like a lot of these they're pretty much, looking for a name, looking for, you know what I'm saying? And they're not really they're not engaged. They don't know what it looks like in our community. They don't know what it looks like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it a buck. What's going to happen is one by one, I'm going to start opening up doors and I'm going to start revealing. Some things can't be healed until it's revealed.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up doors and show who's who. And I made that clear in my last video. I said, listen, I promise you, y'all cats that's out here, sucking up to the mayor and selling our community up the stream, I got something for you. And everybody gonna know who you are. Yeah. And so that was just a part. A lot of that, like I said, was strategic and very intentional. On the end, on that end, the leadership of that church. So it's ugly, man, because it's like, and then show us in the budget. You care about black people, show us in the budget, show us in your voting, show us in the decision making out here. So I say that for the tape.
No, I mean, it's because I'm not a Niagara Falls resident. I'm here often. But I the one thing with your mayor, because I saw the interview, like how the mayor had words, and I was just like, that's very encouraging. That the mayor actually acknowledged that there was racism, because our mayor straight up said that Buffalo is not segregated and it was not a hate crime, and we're just like, all the black people were like,
Byron lost his mind on that, but our mayor, our mayor didn't even make a statement of condolence until that day prior to, and it wasn't even a condolence statement; it was just a flyer of that prayer vigil that he was gonna be doing his little photo op-ed. So
for us, because I've had people, especially the younger people in church leadership, is like, okay, what y'all gonna be doing? If somebody said, well, if your bishop was alive, he would have been, and I'm like, first of all, stepping over line. I was like, the expectation. The expectation, yes, I was like, me and Frank have had conversation, different things, and I was like, everything is not in a rush. Some things is going to take time and a process. I can't bust, and I was saying this last week, I can't go and check the white leadership that I know right now because I'm in my feelings, and God has to deal with me with my feelings, and I will close the door before I even walk in it, because my approach is like, where was y'all at? That's where my mind is. And so I was like, we have to process this feeling, process these emotions before we sit at these tables, because we need to come as tables as people of God, but professionals.
Feeling through.
A lot of people just want to go in their emotions because it's like, I'm angry and I'm passionate and we need to make moves. Sit yourself down a little bit.
Emotions, that's not real.
Listen.
Saved and all. You uncircumcised Philistine, you.
Because it is emotion driven, and I get it. Like, I was not directly affected. I know people who were. But I was like, we can't just have a conversation in high emotion, and everything that's being done, not everything, but a lot of things that are being done now, especially in the city, is high emotion. And what happens when your emotion is done?
And that's where I'm at. I get the emotional, I get the human side, I get that. But after this phase ends, what are we doing to make a change to happen? Niagara Falls on paper is about as racist as it's been established. So, I mean, we'll be 130 years in, and documentation ain't changed. The limits are still there. The boundaries are still there. I can call for a pop-up shop and have 20 or 30 black vendors there doing stuff. But why can't I get them into a building? Because we got to have money. But we trying to make money. Like, what's set up for me to excel here? Now, I know Buffalo got resources and stuff like that. They got programs, and we got a few here. But I'm like, where's the investment, as you would say, to us who've been underserved? Because we putting in concrete sidewalks down the street. We want to change lights so people can see, they can already see. But what about us? What about us who we're lacking? in resources.
And they got it. They just spend it where they want to spend it at, because we even gave I don't know how many buildings away for $1.
Listen,
YMCA for $1, and turned it into a homeless shelter. Like 2 community centers shut down. One tore down. I mean, because it was like it's ash and so much. It would have cost more money to just get it up to code. But 13th over here, we give stuff away.
Yeah.
Okay.
BGC.
Hey.
Jay Cherie, it's on you.
What's good, everybody? You already know what time it is. It is Big Girl Chronicles, and on this marvelous Monday, the table is right, and we have great conversations. But I actually just want to do a Big Girl Chronicles entitled "It's Still All Right," because we're 9 days after the tragedy, and yes, a lot of things have happened. People have said some things that they shouldn't have said, and in leadership, my God, if you know, then you know. But we have to get to the place where we understand that it's still all right, because God is in control. You know, we've all had our moments. You know, I had to get some gas, like, you know, Big Frank said, and I was like, this dude, he in army fatigue. Nope. And I sat in my car, but I had to remember the God that I serve will not let me live in fear. Yes, be cautious, as Councilman Dante said, but don't be in fear to live regular life, because it is still all right, and God is still on the throne. In service yesterday, I appreciated how the Spirit of God broke out in service, because it was a place of freedom where people were restored back to their place of understanding that God is in control no matter the tragedy. And for those who follow the Big Girl Chronicles, you have to know that, yes, when tragedy hits, when trial hits, when situations hit, yes, it's going to be a little bit trying. It's going to be hard, and it may hurt, but it's still all right, because the Bible talks about after you suffering a while, there's still an ending to that. You're going to come out of it. You're going to be better. You're going to be refined. You're going to be like pure gold. But it's the fire in the situation that people don't want to deal with.
Come on.
And it's the pressure that you have to become who you are, who you say you are, now that you're vocal with it, that people don't want to deal with. Yeah. So in this edition of Big Girl Chronicles, if you follow me, politicians, leaders, whatever, become who you say you are, but understand that it's still all right. Yeah, there's a word out. There was a warning. You know, there could be this kind of tragedy. But who are you going to believe when you serve God? That makes no sense, y'all. We can't continue to live in fear, because God does not give us the spirit of fear. Yeah. And if you don't know the Lord, and you're looking at this Big Girl Chronicles like, well, I don't know that God, and I don't really rock with Jesus, well, then you need to be under the assurance that you are who you say you are. Yeah. Because you're beautiful. You're intelligent. Yeah. And you're graceful. Yeah. You're a big girl. You're what? You're a big guy. Yeah. You're big people.
Fact. And I think that is so important, because of the fact that we have a responsibility to become. And my hope is that, okay, tragedy, yes, it's all right, but the tragedy should have been designed to readjust your mindset to be like, okay, I really got to stop playing. Because it can't be emotionally driven either. Because if it's emotional, it'll fade. Listen, I wake up angry. You know, it changes until I eat. We have problems, okay? You know, so I can't trust my emotion, but there has to be a mental adjustment concerning us, for us, to put pressure on these people. I'm gonna say this, and I may not like me. Put pressure on the council seat. Right. Put pressure on your people. Put pressure on leadership, and stop just accepting everything. We're always just accepting and putting no demand on the value of living for ourselves. And we have to now. We have to be able. It's that time. Like, Dante's in the seat right now. There's no reason why we shouldn't be supported. I don't care what he put on the table. But we should evaluate it and support it. Yeah. And everybody, and I'm gonna call you out because y'all in this city. If everybody, and what they call Center Court, Chocolate City, I don't know the new name of it, Unity Park, Jordan Gardens, if everybody in their houses just walked out and signed or agreed and showed up, pressure. Pressure. Not because somebody got shot. Right. Not because we got to have another vigil. Because we're trying to change policies. Pressure. It's that kind of time. even from my churches on every other corner in the city of Buffalo. Whatever's on the table need to be changed, review it, because there's wisdom, and support it. I'm not seeing y'all no more. I ain't been to all the council meetings, but I've been to a few. But I ain't seen y'all.
Right.
Y'all not there. Now y'all can go ahead and say, oh, Jesus, no, get in it.
Right.
Get in it. Because you're the voice of the movement.
And Jesus was a social justice.
So listen, talk about so I guess after this question, I even for the question of the day, like, what do you believe is our biggest hindrance from excelling and putting that pressure out there?
One of the things for me, and especially when it came time to like when I speak as far as our churches and our spiritual based area, a lot of leadership is intertwined into government. Are connected to government leaders, and that 501c3 in many cases, a lot of people allow that to be a crutch. Just because you tax exempt don't make you care exempt. Just because you tax exempt don't make you show up exempt. Like, yes, because, and for me, I don't like the double standard. Like, don't say, hey, we got to separate church from state and all that other stuff. But then when it comes down to when it benefits you personally, then you're all up in it. You know what I'm saying? So I think the thing is especially when it comes down to leadership, and I'm gonna try to say this quick. I always say that all these, especially pastors, you have most have influence. If you can get somebody to wake up on a Sunday morning on their day off, iron their good clothes, and come and listen to you talk for about an hour, that's influence every week. So we need to start from the top of the hierarchy or whatever we want to call it. Start having those conversations and get some of your members out to city council, out to county legislative meetings, because what happens is a lot of times we end up voting blind, because if you're not there, you don't see who's misrepresenting you, not representing you, but you see it's people there. And I've learned in the first quarter of city council is that like it's in your face, and when you come and you see it, it's like, oh my God, because certain names, a lot of times we vote off of name recognition and whatnot, because if I'm not there and I never seen the man vote, I don't know what he stands for. We just got what we got, and they just trying to do the best that they can. But then when you go and you see, you like, man, they don't care at all.
No, seriously. So, listen, we got a few comments. A few comments we got there.
So Sharita said, I agree. Support Councilman Dante and other Black and Brown leaders who are striving to change the socioeconomic dynamics in Western New York. Julie said, apply the pressure where it hurts.
Facts.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Listen, it's going down, y'all. Big Frank in the morning. Listen, the conversation continues. If you're listening on the app, no shout to you. You know, rock out with us. But the heavy conversation happened off the microphone. Let's get real hot. But the question of the day, is it fight or the fear that keeps you from success? Let's talk about it right here on 5716. Your boy Big Frank in the morning. Squad.
But even to like tag on to
Come create at Hanley Studios, 545 Main Street, Niagara Falls, New York. Poetry, improv, comedy, music, and more. Hanley Studios, available for renting. We have lights, sound, and stage equipment. Hanley Studios, 545 Main Street, Niagara Falls, New York. We provide live streaming. For more information, call 716-371-2780, extension 2, 716-371-2780, extension 2.
Fire 716 Radio, serving the best in urban and inspirational music.
Because we're not doing it the churchy way, and we're not doing it the way that the old Black men were doing it, we get shut down. Because like Frank, I was like, Frank is fluid. I don't know how he got where he got in the middle of stuff, because there's things that we've had conversations about where like it's like, oh, we want to meet with the young people, and I've been very expressive, and it was just like, that's nice, but because my thoughts were out of the box and it wasn't black churchy, I was like, I'm not gonna be in a long skirt on the corner, with a Bible in my hand. This blue hair preacher is gonna be out here, jeans, chucks, whatever, but trying to talk to the people and not trying to bring them in the building, but talk to them where they are.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, when they come, we'll help them. They not coming. Yeah. They are not coming. And so, like, how do you navigate with that? Because
the Bible says, I call the old because they know the way. So I call the young because they're strong. Now, this is a twofold process for me. The people who have been here already, they know what it takes to a degree of what needs to be done. How it needs to be executed exactly, they're not relevant to know. Right. So they don't understand Facebook, Snapchat. They've ran their course. They're not as current as they want to pretend to be. Therefore, they should have been preparing for succession. And the truth of the matter is, and I'm going to talk Niagara Falls churches, they're not preparing for succession. No. That's why when the pastor transitions, it's an empty space, months at a time, trying to figure out who's taking over. And then sometimes succession is just the same person that was just you. Y'all 80 and 82.
Yeah, right.
That's the truth.
That's not succession.
It only gonna last a little.
We got 6 solid months.
Because you have to open the revelation, and this is more spiritual than it's just natural. The revelation, you got to be open to that. What God is saying, and you got to be relevant. You got to be strong. You got to be able to take some criticism, because right now they're not playing with the church. Yeah. If you're not coming correct at all, they're gonna check you. Right. And if you're not strong, you will be torn. All right, in the fetal position somewhere. You got to go, God, what's the agenda? What's the goal? Here we are. And your delivery going to be different in church. We're not talking long jeans, long skirts.
Listen.
I'm not. Right. Give me a fish fry barbecue, some good music. Let's have a conversation.
Right.
That's it. See, and the other part is that we have pastors that have their own personal agendas. Yeah. And there's a couple that I can name, and they'll remain nameless for the time being. But however, they're not off the table. But you got some people who consider this little Niagara Falls an easy target, an easy win. I can see that. It's easy.
I'm gonna cut Jordan. That's a valid statement.
It is.
If you knew how many preachers have ran through Niagara Falls, established churches, got people, got funds, then left, it's crazy. Because they play on people as if, this is going to be an easy grab it.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, easy. Wow. And that's how it's been, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sharita said the ecclesia is and always has been designed as a place for religious, spiritual, social, and political uplift and reform. Right. Pastors have a mandate to engage in the social struggles and structure of the community.
Take the money.
But that's the thing. A lot of these pastors don't have this, because it's like the social thing. I don't want to get involved with that because we're crossing lines. And I'm just like, how, when the Jesus you serve was in here flipping tables with tax collectors, checking the Pharisees, like, no, he was a social justice guy. And I think the comfortability of the seat, nobody can replace.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, some pastors I ain't never seen. I ain't never heard of until tragedy. I've never. When I say never, I'm talking about Frank is 33. I've been around Niagara Falls and Buffalo, but I've seen people hit the podium. I've never seen you. Yeah. Right. Ever. Your church is where? I thought that building was closed. Right.
That's real. That's real.
This building's real. Oh, y'all open and active. Dang. And it shouldn't be that way. Yeah. There should be a collective effort. Continue. And I say this is just my wisdom. Every pastor can't grind all year round, whatever. Yeah. But there should be a consistent rotation of presence. Now listen, I understand. I'll take this month. We're doing something somewhere, and you keep that. You can take a week. There's so many preachers sitting in the room. Like, I have compassion. I understand what responsibility we have to our flock and how they may hold precedent over the mass communities. I get it. Because I got to make sure y'all good. You know, we can be communicating, providing for y'all. But there should be a consistent community effort.
Yeah.
Non-stop. Every month, there should be something somewhere. And not just in your church.
Right, because it's a quality of life.
Absolutely.
Thing. And I think the thing is that the presence needs to happen. It needs where we need the church needs to be the cornerstone of the community.
Yes. Period.
So once they need, because see what happens is we focus so much on taking care of the people in the building.
Yeah.
And you're not taking care of their quality of life when they leave the building.
Right.
So they're coming to the building with so many scars and stuff prior to, because they going through hell at home in their surroundings.
Yeah.
And you're not caring about that surrounding. You're caring about the tithes and offering that you're going to get that morning.
Right.
Or you're caring about what service is going to look like and what you can preach about and what can I put into them at that present time. But the bigger portion is this: how are they able to live when they get home? Is their mental health together?
Right.
Because they're hearing gunshots all the time. So why is it that? And that's what the true story is. Most of our black churches, we're dealing with that on a regular, and that's the part that we take care of.
Yeah, no, and I concur, because I talk to God, because pastorship is my future. Have mercy on us all, God. I thank you. But what it is God, what kind of people am I maturing? Because I don't want you to come to church in your best dress and live well for 2 hours.
Right.
And then outside it's just shambles and it's just broken. No. How can I? If the Bible says that I have the ability to get wealth, how do I get it?
Right.
It's my will for you to prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. That's mind, body, and soul. Right. How can I live well? What can I put in place to make sure that we are making healthier decisions for our life as a unit? And that the whole church ain't about to, being bad for a miracle. Right. Because we're not mentally prepared to take care of ourselves.
Right.
Like, help me to change the dynamics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say how I hear it. Of the black church.
Right.
Church of the black church, because we have that. I believe in sowing, I believe in reaping, I believe in that concept. I do. But there's a responsibility that a pastor will have to, like he said, making sure that they have the tools accessible to them to advance and to grow. Everybody's not going to get it. Yeah. But the majority of the sanctuary shouldn't be suffering.
Right.
And broken and weak and I don't have. No, let's go get. And even in that process of called faith, because y'all look at me, hallelujah. Faith walking bills do. Okay. Right. But how to let faith work for you successfully.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this moment that you're facing a hardship shouldn't be a lifetime of hardship.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So.
But I think, but I also believe that the young people are the ones that's trying to come out of the church walls. And like, we gonna come get y'all. Yeah. Because like, I have friends who are blatant atheists, but she has said to me, I kind of almost believe in God, just a little, watching your story, because I will come out the walls, I will come out the church, I will come get you. Like, and like, the one thing I did appreciate about, what Evangelist Bruce, he's been going out on the streets for a long time. Okay, if you can't come to church, we'll do baptisms on the corner. Like, because people respond to him more because it's not in a building. And this is what's frustrating me, is that people don't understand. A lot of these people are not going to come into this building because they have been hurt. They have been used. They've been taken advantage of because it has been about money.
And one thing that Bruce has is consistency.
Yeah.
You cannot be fickle. You cannot be in and out. You cannot be up and down. You have to be consistent. So, like I tell you all the time, there was a time where Bruce was talking, it wasn't nobody listening. He consistently ran his course and did his thing and went out there and got followers. We go, whatever we do, gotta be consistent. Be like, my boy, the councilman, he got to get out of here. I know. You got to get him up here.
That's a good conversation because it's an investment, man. Yeah. I think that's the thing that we're not looking at.
Yeah.
5716, your boy, friend, like the Big Frank in the morning's going down. Councilmember Dante Miles with us, as well as Josh, the architect, as well as Jake Sharif, and Kev on there. The room is full. How full? Real full. How full? I'm getting hot. It's going down. Listen, our time is a little bit limited with Dante this morning. He has to go into work. He handles business, okay? And people be on his tail. He told him, listen, you don't understand the seat until you occupy a seat.
Sure.
And I learned that. We can talk all we want to on the outside about something, until you occupy a seat, you are in the back office, you don't understand the weight of the seat. So number one, I commend you for occupying the seat. Number one, and two, for remaining.
Yeah.
Get that out of there. And also for remaining, because you can see a seat and be like, "Oh, this is a whole lot of mess here."
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to deal with this or not. But so far he has, and for that I'm grateful. Listen, before you get out of here, just give us a word of encouragement, something to deposit to us before we release you to go on to make that money.
So one of the biggest things I always say is that the people in power should never outweigh the power of people.
Come on.
So my biggest stance is, and if there's an ask for the people here in the community, is to show up. There's three things that you could be at city council. You can be a physical presence without having to say anything. Come there to see us and hold us accountable. Come hold me accountable first, because there's a lot of people that don't. I'm not even gonna say a lot. It's people that don't rock with me.
Yeah,
that's real talk. Yeah. And so if you feel some kind of way, come hold me accountable, because I'm giving you the license to do that first. But if you come hold me accountable, then you're gonna hold all of us accountable. Yeah. I'm just trying to get people in the building. So whether you like me or not, I'd rather all of everybody be in the building, so we're not voting blind next election.
Yeah.
Two, you can be an information taker. So what happens is you can see how I'm voting, how my colleagues are voting, what we're voting on, and you can bring that information back to the people that may not be able to come. And three, you could be what I was for 6 years. You can be that podium, soldier that's holding people like myself now in the position that I am accountable, where you're addressing the issues, because it's a lot. It's about 80% of council is totally disconnected from our 100%. Community. Yeah. So one of the things is that, in order for them to understand what's going on, you have to apply pressure. People power is pressure. Yeah. And so what happens is if you take the 15, 20 people that normally show up and turn that into, I was telling Frank, 250. I said, that's a little less than 1% of our voting population. We got 26,000 registered voters, a little bit over, and 250 would almost fill up that whole room. So our thing is that for me, standing room only is a perfect potion for my city council meetings. They have just been shut down to one meeting a month, which is horrible. Yeah. And there's a protest tonight as far as these special meetings that's been kind of muzzling the voice of the people. So at 5:15 on the steps of City Hall, I will be standing with the people. And our meeting starts. This is Wednesday. Did I say tonight? Wednesday night. I'm all over the place right now, but Wednesday night there's going to be a protest, and this is for everyone, where you can come, because at the end of the day, special meetings with only 48 hours of notice and 18 agenda items that I'm supposed to vote on, that's going to affect everybody in the city of Niagara Falls, just so our mayor can pretty much get his agenda across. And not just that, but they don't have public speaking on these agenda items, so I can't get any feedback from the community on these agenda items that I'm going to vote on. This Wednesday is going to be very important and very pivotal for our people to come and show up. Now, that's my all of that disclaimer of a little bit of what I go through. I'm optimistic. Yeah. About the city of ours. I'm optimistic. A lot of people say, oh, it's nothing to do in Niagara Falls, or it's nothing, right? And here's the truth. Right now, especially when it comes down to these youths, these babies is my passion. We need more. Yeah. So with that being said, sometimes I get a little excited when I realize it's not a lot at that time, because now I consider Niagara Falls to be a blank canvas for us to be able to create whatever it is that we want to have here in our city. Right. But in order for that to happen, we got to show up as a people. Yeah. And we got to come in numbers, young and old. Mm-hmm. And I do believe, and for the next 4 years, I don't need another vote. And that's the thing that people have to understand. I'm not campaigning. Anything that I do it for I always keep my kids in the front of everything that I do. that wasn't a campaign slogan. And I tell people, be glad that my kids are my fuel, because know that you're gonna get the best of me. I'm gonna fight for whatever. I'm gonna say I got in this office on my own merit. I ain't take no bribes. I didn't take no favors. There were no special interest groups backing me or none of that. It was the people. Yeah. So the people that voted me in, I'm not beholden to none of that other stuff. At the end of the day, I'm here to do a job. So I don't need another vote. I can say what I want to say, when I want to say it, and exactly how I want to say it. And can't nobody stop that, right? So I say more so, y'all got 4 years. And here's the truth. So I guess it was supposed to be positive, but I'm going to tell you. But I'm going to be honest with you. 6 years of fighting at the podium prior to me getting into this position, and then getting this position and having a 4-year, term. After my term, that's 10 years of really going hard. My daughter is going to be 16. My son is going to be 13. Yeah. The people need to show up. And I'm talking about, especially those of us who've been in the underserved portions of our community, especially of those who suffer a lot of the neglect and a lot of the lack, intentional neglect from local government. And it's time for us to stop being comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. We're not good. We're not in a healthy place in our city. And I'm speaking for Niagara Falls, but this message could possibly be somewhat universal to other areas. Absolutely. But the biggest thing is this. It's time for us to stop kind of punking out and really holding our local governing bodies, our local leaders, people who have been considered leaders, because it's people who have been self-appointed. Like my dad said, God called, some were called, some were sent, and some just went. Yeah. And it's a lot of people that just went. They just out here and they're considered leaders by a handful of people, and they got their minions that's kind of lifting them up. Yeah. But my thing is this. We have to start holding everybody accountable, and I think, and including ourselves. And I think once that takes place, I think we'll be able to see something. But I'm gonna be honest, after my term, if Niagara Falls looks the same way, you know what I mean? I'm gonna say less. Just know that you heard it first right here. You know what I'm saying? On the fire. So listen, thank y'all, man.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Being a part of this. I gotta go to work. Listen, council meeting is taking place again Wednesday, and at 5:15 we'll be on the steps front of City Hall prior to that meeting. So make sure you avail yourself, be present, tell a neighbor, tell a friend, tell your cousin. Pull up, be there. It's going down. 5716. What Big Frank. When we get back, we get into the question of the day: is it fight or fear that keeps you from success? 5716. Let's go. Let's get it. Peace.
Morning, Carrie.
Morning, Carrie. Good morning.
Carrie.
Thank you, sir. Always.
Thanks for coming, sir.
Absolutely.
Pull up anytime.
Y'all here?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Yeah. That was good early.
Yeah.
Be a little after 8, I get the little son off school.
Okay.
Right. Anytime you feel like.
Because if you're feeling froggy, come on, Talk Your Talk Tuesday. We talk our talk on Tuesday.
That's when we encourage you to call people out.
Yeah.
We call everybody.
We call everybody out on Talk Your Talk.
Everybody call.
I was lucky to tag it and call.
Tag them. That's what I do. Hold on, wait.
Oh, you hear now? Listen, we was at your church. You was just.
But yeah, Talk Your Talk Tuesday. It get
That's I love that kind of talk.
It get real hard in here. We've had some real spirited conversations on Talk Your Talk.
But it's needed. I mean, for real change, it's going to take what I call
uncomfortable talk.
In a disruptive approach.
Yeah.
We've been comfortable way too long. Oh, and when you get older,
the knees
don't do what they used to do.
All right, kids. All right, we're talking.
Doc, for sure.
Facts. Yeah, that's why 716 Radio is what we do. What we do. Is it the fight or the fear that keeps you from success?
It's the fear of the unknown. What can happen? What's going to happen? I don't know.
True.
If am I gonna go bankrupt, putting all of my money into this business? Is the business gonna flourish? It's the fear of the unknown.
I think there's a bit of depending on where you're at in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there are a lot of times for me personally, like the fear was a lot, but I've also had times where the fight, you get to a point where you're like, all right, Lord, I'm tired now.
Yeah.
Like this fight is now becoming daunting, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess, but then there's also times where the fight becomes easy, you know, because it's just doing the work. But you know, the fears where, you know, so I think it's depending on where you are, I guess.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think the initial stepping out is always the hardest step. The initial stepping out is the hardest step. But like I also agree that, you know, it also depends on where you are, what you're doing, necessarily what is what. But I think for the most part, I'm gonna say it's the fight. And the reason why I'm gonna say it's the fight is because okay, I'm gonna take there. When you get into a confrontation with a person, and at first you running through your emotions, you know what I mean? You're on the adrenaline, you know, but when you get hit that first time, you know what I'm saying, you come into a reality. And sometimes that reality is something that, and that reality sometimes, not so much can either be a good one or a bad one. It can be the reality that like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely got this one. Or, this might be a little bit of work. You know what I'm saying? And because you don't know until you get into the fight, you know what I'm saying, really, that's difficult to sometimes muster up the strength to do it without being overly emotional. Sometimes even being overly emotional is the problem of why the fight become what it is, because you wasn't really ready for it. You know what I mean? You jumped into the fight just because you felt some type of way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that for the most part, that's the fight. And you know, it's the fight because you don't know what kind of fight you're about to get into sometimes, and also because fighting requires energy. Fighting is work, and sometimes even if you know what it's gonna take, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just don't have the energy.
I think it is both. I think that the element of fear cancels out faith because you're hesitant of not knowing what's going to be, whatever. But then it's the fight to remain once you even get conquered fear. I'm here, but now I got to fight. Because the fight that I'm having is really with myself.
Right.
The fight ain't with what he said. It's with my comprehension and believing what he said. It's my fight and fear.
Right.
Like I haven't convinced myself that I have this value or this worth to be.
Right.
So I have my low self-esteem, my challenges, me. Then I have what God said, and it don't match. Yeah. So I'm fighting to try to get where God said under a concept of my logic,
right?
And my if I do this leads to that, then I lead to that, then I lead to this, then I lead to that, then I do that, then I get to that, I get to this. Oh, now I'm here. And God says no. Once you stop the fight and you surrender to what I said, I can take you from here to here, just like that. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's the easiest transition or it doesn't come without a push or hardship, but it comes with pressure. And you have to be willing to stop fighting what he said. Yeah. Sometimes we're fighting what he said because we feel, I remember crying, being minister crying, weeping and wailing, because I felt so unfit to what he said, so unqualified for what he said. But he said what he said. And so your fight is your own, you trying to figure it all out. I'm going to say this, it is not my job to fulfill a prophetic word. If the word was prophetic,
it's going to be fulfilled.
As long as you're obedient to it.
Fact, but once you've declared the prophetic word, say less, that's the word. It is not my job to start robbing Peter to pay Paul to accomplish the prophetic word.
Right.
I'm going to live and going to obey, and I'm going to operate as if the prophetic word is now. Therefore, I know I'll navigate different. As an architect, you're gonna navigate different than somebody who's not. Because that's what I've been called to do this.
Yeah.
This is the assignment. So I'm gonna work, whatever. But also that same concept can be flipped. Because you're an architect and you work a certain way, that God will work a different way. Because I need you to know that you're not gonna get where you're going by your own merit alone.
Right.
It's gonna be by the grace. So you're gonna fight the unknown.
Yeah.
I'm in the unknown right now, not knowing. Facing hard. Hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay? Hallelujah. Like you can't say that first one's radio. That would add to my life development fund.
But that's also why I say, that's why I also said, like,
Yeah.
for me, it's from my perspective, it's really like the fight, because most of the fight is done in the dirt.
Yeah, nobody knows. No idea.
One point to catch, I think about this a lot. You don't want to sort of act out and sort of be extra like you're trying to fulfill it yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of just applying, because like you create Ishmaels like that.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. Abraham could have just complied, and it just would have been Isaac, but he created that Ishmael because he was doing extra stuff and trying to force it on. Right.
Because I think when it comes to, I guess for me, it's not really the fear, because I've been through too much not to be fearful.
Yeah.
Like coming into who I'm supposed to be, I've gotten past that. The fight with it is, I guess the fight was internal, but it was also because my name was associated with other things before I became who I am.
Yeah.
So like my fight is getting past the stigma of what I used to represent. And that's why, like, even with the last Bible study, somebody prophesied to me, the stigma is coming off of your name. But up until I heard that, it was like seeing the fight of pushing past, okay, the person that you saw before, that's not that person now. Like the vocal person that I was before when I was rude is not, I'm still vocal, not as rude. But things like that. And I think when you know that you've had, and it wasn't necessarily my former life, but how I was. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to fight to be that change in Buffalo, when you're trying to fight to be, everything that God called you to be, it's always the press through to break the barriers of where people already put you. And it's not that you care about it, but sometimes their care about your lack of success is like a button that you're trying to push to this wall, because there are people assigned to try to make your transition happen.
Yeah.
So like for me, that's why it's like that's why it's the fight, because it's like, dang, y'all are just relentless in your efforts.
I remember when I first served the bishop, day 2. Some preachers that did some crazy, had some crazy, and he was like, "Yo, Frank, I can smack somebody." He was like, really, but because of what the responsibility is to the kingdom, right? I can't operate in my flesh, right? So I think that you're gonna have to be regardless, and sometimes that is the fight of being what he said. Yeah. The fight isn't just getting to success. The fight is remaining successful. Because I have to fight to keep my character and integrity intact, and not to respond out of anything other than what God said. Therefore, I have to fight to remain. It's not that I'm afraid to remain. Right. Y'all don't. I'm human. I told you Sunday. Listen. I was ready to be like, we can pack this up and go.
Right.
We can pack this up. I can go get me a 9 to 5 and preach this gospel, because it's getting harder.
Yeah.
Though he provided, and he keeps providing,
it doesn't make it.
It's still. I'm still transitioning mentally to really trust even greater that it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. To the point where I'm not which sounds crazy, and God, please don't push me to the limit. I'm not fearful of what could happen next. Right. But Father God, you got to provide. Because in my manhood, as a father, as a husband, there's some responsibilities you take for sure. that according to what the world says has to be met. Right. But when God challenges what y'all say has to be met versus to invest into what I told you to invest in and have to suffer on one? Please. That's a fight to remain. I took the faith step out over fear, but to remain is not.
I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't come into realization because a lot of people don't see it a certain way, or because of the things that they do is usually less instant or so instant that it overshadows everything else. Is that the issue sometimes isn't after a win, isn't the win. Sometimes because working hard to win is what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? It's the after. What you gotta deal with after you win. You know what I mean? Because after you win, you know what I mean? If you put it in an easy perspective that people can grab, we can put it in the sports perspective. After you win the championship, okay, you worked hard to get there. You know what I mean? But after that come a different kind of work because now people have expectations of you. Right. Now, when you don't reach those expectations, something is wrong. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I mean? Or if you reach those expectations now, you were supposed to. You know what I mean? Stop getting recognition now for the work that you put in. You know what I mean? You are pushed to win better, to win more, to win in a different way. Right. You know what I mean? And because of all those things, you know what I mean? It's a different kind of pressure after you win. Right. You know what I mean? So sometimes, and I've done it once or twice. Sometimes I quit after I win because after that win, I didn't want to. You don't want to deal with what happened after that win because now you always want me to win. But if I win and I'm done, you be like, oh, well, shoot, he won. That's all it is. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the mentality that we should get out of. You know what I mean? But it's something that I know for a fact that a lot of people either don't think about or they really don't deal with because they deal with it how I've dealt with it in the past, where you won and you was done.
So I wonder if people that are truly successful are beyond the win. A lot of people. I think about that sometimes, where mentally they're not. That's not their initial goal to just win once, or there's not their. Because a lot of people don't know or haven't seen what it's like to be at that point where you've accomplished something, so they think that that's the end point. But I think people that exceed it understand that that isn't the end point. That's just one notch in the step.
When the Bible talks about we go from faith to faith, we go to glory. As long as you're living, you should never stop winning.
Right.
Not saying you don't have losses, but this is what I want to say before you said that day was sometimes you're in a fight by yourself because we want support, but you don't get support. You know why you don't get support? Because God told you. I didn't tell everybody.
Right.
I told you. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we tell others what God told us, looking for help and validation. No, I told you. Right. Therefore, you're not by yourself because I'm with you.
Right.
But it's gonna feel like that. Anybody no. Just do what I told you to do. I may even send help, but I told you. Right. I didn't tell them. Right. They can do what they're doing because they have different instructions. I told you a set thing. But sometimes our mindset has to change. Yeah. Once we win, it's literally we've won this one. Okay, man. There's another phase of winning for us, and it may be a win that others win that we win. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I've accomplished a level of success. I know that I'm set and I'm okay. I put things in businesses and stuff where financially I'm great. I don't really have to fight for more. Right. But let me build. I got children. Yeah. But now, for me personally, the reason this sounds crazy. The reason why I have to win and be the evidence of a win is so that those that our pastor and I'll serve show them how to win. That's why he wanted to release this situation, surviving faith. But what it is it's showing you how to win and giving you the reality of what it's like before the win. Right. That you talk about that workout, that work. That is faith being tried and tested repeatedly. That is a shaking. That is a breaking. That is a crying. That is frustration. That is anger. That is God. I don't know him to show up every time on time, but it's like I mean, I'm talking about. I use finance because that's really a lot of people the challenge. I'm talking about you're in the grace period. You got a day left. God, you still ain't pulled the miracle yet. Yeah. Here we go. It's 30 seconds left on the clock. Deposit just came. Who? Father. Okay? Father. Lord Jesus. Right.
Cutting it real close, Lord. You're showing out.
But I said it before, though. But the check that just dropped, was already processed
Right.
a week ago, which means that he already knew it was going to be a route. And sometimes that's human nature.
Yeah.
That's challenging.
Right.
It's challenging.
Talking because I talked to because supposedly I'm supposed to get some money at some point in time, right? And Quita was getting aggravated with me because I was like, because I kept bringing up like, if I had this much money, if I had the money, right? But the reality is the only reason why I felt that way is because I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? If I didn't know it was coming, I wouldn't even care. It wouldn't even be in my mind. You know what I mean? I'll be working off the faith in which that I was living with already. You know what I mean? But because I knew it was coming, I not that I stopped being faithful for other things or anything, but I was focused on what I was getting. You know what I mean? And honestly, the real focus should have been what to do. You know what I'm saying?
I think, but like real talk, I really think that a lot of the struggles with people, especially the believers, that we struggle with believing that God wants the best for us. Because like we talk about it in church, we supposed to be the heads and not the tail. We're above and not, we the lender, not the borrower. But when we get to the place that we are the lender and not the borrower, it's like, God, what did I do?
Right.
Like it's an instant freak out. Like, and even when I was telling Frank about, my car search and everything that I was going for, I was denied for everything that I wanted because God wanted something better for me. Where I was trying to get into a 2012 and God was like, I'm trying to get you into the 2017. Like, when we talk the place, like it's the fear of like, God, why are you doing this? It is the shoe about to fall. Like, is the blessings coming because there's something wrong that's getting ready to happen?
Yeah.
So you trying to, and God is just like, nah, I'm giving it to you because I'm good. Like, I'm giving it to you because this is the promise. And we get scared. We speak the promise, but we get scared of it. Like, in my mind, I'm like, Lord, how in the world am I going to be who I am and get ready to go into this master's degree program where I know this is going to be 2 years of hazing. But like, God is like, but I've set you up with a program that's taking $5,000 off of your tuition. I'm setting you up with a program that whatever money is that you're going to owe, I'm going to have it paid for. So why are you stressing about it? Yes, you have a certain amount of money set aside for your card. And after that, you're going to be living on faith. But it was like, but why are you so scared of the pathway that I promised you? And this is a lot of things that we struggle with, is that we speak the promise, but then we get scared when God actually makes the pathway successful.
When it started manifesting.
And then you start to self-sabotage and jack up everything that God has put in place because it's like, I don't deserve this. And God was like, but you do. Like,
because to what if? Because to what if you want it for a day, you can reject, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing, this is gonna be good. But when it starts happening, it's different. I can talk all day about a meeting, a multi-millionaire. I would say this until he called me when it started. The meeting is Tuesday.
When it started rolling.
yeah.
I ain't got nothing ready.
That's why there's instructions to write the vision, make it plain, so they that see it can run with it. We trying to write and run. It's not the instructions.
Jotting all over.
Write the vision, make it plain, so they that see it. So you got to reveal it.
Yeah.
You got to
So
stop.
you can't always hide everything all the time. You can't tell everybody everything. I get it. But when it comes down to present, all right. Maybe they'll steal, maybe they won't.
So I got a book idea right now in my phone. I only got the title.
You said no title?
I only have the title.
I only got the title.
Because all I can be like is that this is the vision I have for this page. Eventually it's gotta start happening. It's gonna have to happen. You got to.
Hey. Fire 716, your boy Big Frankie locked in the Big Frankie in the morning. What it is, what's up? Listen, it's going down, man. Josh, the architect, is in the room. David Dark Knight and Jay Cherie. And Kevin O'Hare is in the building, man. It's really going down. It's really a vibe.
4 men and a lady. It's just right. Fire 716, 4 men and a lady.
It's lit though. Listen, but let's get into it real quick. The question of the day: is it the fight or the fear that keeps you from success?
I'm gonna say it's the fear.
Fear?
Because fear is in your mind. Your mind is your biggest opponent.
Facts.
It'll psych you out every time. and if you succumb to it, it's gonna have you stuck somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So, but then it's a little bit of both because you have to fight through that fear. You have to push through that. And that fight right there alone to get out of your mind is a fight alone.
Right, this is why you got to renew your mind. And people are like, oh, it's so church. No, I'm trying to get you to understand that your concept of living is not God's concept of living.
Exactly.
So I need you to know that if I provide for the birds every day, the birds don't worry about what I'm going to eat tomorrow.
Right.
They coast, they see, they consume.
And they know where to get the resource.
Right. The sea, listen, the sea, them white birds, the seagulls, when your hand goes up, they already know the signal is possibly food here. And when your hand go up, they are already in conversation and plotting. But they didn't know yesterday that you would be.
Yeah.
They just took the moment. And y'all not gonna like me for this one. I know they say plan. If you learn to trust God's moments,
man,
he'll that thought that you have to go to a place that you don't go to, or to have a conversation that you don't have, or to do it, or to release yourself from a place you don't want to. You didn't follow the unction.
Yeah.
You didn't follow the whisper. Because the Bible says, "I'm not in the wind, I'm not in the fire, I'm a still small voice." And when I give you that light instruction, all right, go down there and just say this. It may sound crazy, but go down and say this. Though it may not even be successful at the moment, that conversation triggers another conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because God is working into a whole nother platform. But because of your personal limitations, we won't go. Our personal internal fight, we won't go. Our fear and hesitation. So I believe it's both of them joints. And it's like, God.
Yeah, like for sure.
Like God, Lord. But if you listen, this sounds crazy, I know. If you listened to the voice that told you to go, that told you to do, what doors you could have walked through.
Right.
The fear of the unknown.
The fear of the unknown is real.
But you know what's incredible though is that you can fight fearlessly but without wisdom. So sometimes the fight is problematic because you're not, listening to that still small voice, and you're not operating what you should do, and you're just going off of what you're
doing stuff. Right. Yeah. And I think being emotionally driven is very dangerous.
Right.
For sure. And that's why I also said why it's the fight. Because sometimes you fight emotionally. You don't fight in that. You don't fight after playing. Not even necessarily planning it. You don't fight after thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go into it like, I can do it because I know how to fight.
Yeah.
Instead of I should look at how I need to fight it.
Yeah. Facts.
So, that's work. Everything is work.
What's not going on with Walmart? It's fearless. And we're going to get into it.
Facts.
Walmart is real fearless.
I'm going to give y'all a quick song. We're going to get into some stuff real quick. It's going down fire. So 116 Hot Topics coming up next on fire. So 116 Big Frank in the morning. Let's go. Let's get it.
I didn't say much when they started mass producing Juneteenth t-shirts. Because I was like,
question. How many of y'all think they're going to put Juneteenth on Jefferson this year?
They said they want a petition for it to happen on Jefferson.
I already know it's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen now.
You know why? Because there's this moment.
Yeah.
And I was going to say this earlier.
Big freaking moment.
The issue is that y'all having is presentation. Everybody is trying to present. Everything is about presenting. You know what I mean? The president came to present. The mayor come to present.
Right.
They're gonna have Juneteenth on Jefferson to present, to set a stage, to show myself. You know what I'm saying? And the issue is that everything is about being seen, but nobody want to do it.
That's the point.
Yeah, because it requires work. But
that's the thing. Some stuff doesn't require work. Some stuff just requires you to stamp. Some stuff just requires you just to say something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the concept of work is always in your hands and in your feet. And sometimes work is in your voice.
But let's just call it spade to spade.
Let's call it spade.
They are
I'm throwing
benefiting financially off of this trash.
Oh, for sure. And
The Choose Love T-shirts, all of this stuff. Juneteenth being on Jefferson. First of all, I don't think it's a good idea because I also know that the persons are watching our every move.
But it started on Jefferson.
So when
That's
they be watching regardless of where it is.
But if you know a whole bunch of black people gonna be in one area, and I'm not saying it as a place of fear. I'm just saying every move should not be broadcasted. That's my thing. But they are benefiting so much.
This is what I'm gonna say. Yeah, you're not gonna for this one. Yeah, here we go. As a marketing strategy, business
It's genius.
absolutely.
No, for sure.
Now, let's talk now. What tag is on these shirts? That's important.
For sure.
WBLK is a white person station.
Yeah.
Catered towards a black community.
Right.
So the tag on this, so the proceeds pays the employees of WBLK.
Yeah.
But it goes to Town Square Media.
Right.
That's the proceeds from these shirts may go to Haynes. It might go to some, but before we complain, whose tag is on this shirt? Because what if it's a black tag?
Mm-hmm.
And what if they're black benefiting? Go sis, go bro. It's about time.
The Choose Love T-shirt started when the bill showed up with the shirt that says Choose Love. Right. It wasn't like a mantra because it wasn't like something that was going on in the black community before they showed up. Because real talk, and she watching is because I got you because somebody stole his sister, my cousin Love's logo, her drawing, Derica stuff. And was putting it on different things on different platforms without her permission. Yeah, she talked about it on Facebook. So, my bad.
That's right.
Sorry. Somebody stole her design and was marketing it.
Congratulations.
Wow.
And was marketing it on different platforms without her permission.
Oh, yeah. We gotta get that back in blood.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. Even when she was doing something in love, it was stolen and people were marketing and benefiting off of it.
For sure.
So when the bill showed up with the Choose Love T-shirts, then it became, we got to support this because it's a Choose Love T-shirt. It wasn't back. The proceeds wasn't going to the families.
Right,
The proceeds wasn't going to arrangements for funerals or nothing like that.
Right.
It was going for, now I'm a benefit off of this tragedy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this money off of these people.
Well, I guess business-minded people, for better or worse, it's always like they always have to find they're like wired to find like whatever success is, and it becomes almost inhuman at certain point.
Yeah.
But I will say though that I think we have an opportunity. So I was walking down Jefferson yesterday, and Saturday, and I was walking around. I'm like, I haven't seen this many people on Jefferson Utica in a really long time.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Exactly.
Even though that is happening, where people are, taking advantage, for their own ends, I wonder how we as a community can take advantage of this to allow it to be sort of a jumping off point of something greater, so that we can benefit. There's an intentionality, I think, in that's that we can start to engage. I think we can take what they've started, even if it's not for our good on their end, we can sort of take that and use it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the most powerful image I have seen so far on Jefferson was a bunch of monks came and silently played their tribute. Somebody just happened to catch a picture, but they didn't do an announcement. They didn't say, "Hey, we coming out." Like they literally came, paid their respects, and left.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
And that's like that for me was powerful because it wasn't a national announcement that they were coming. It was like, and that's why they respect the Bills because they did not announce like the Bills, the Bandits, and stuff like that. They didn't announce that they were coming. It was just a bunch of people with cameras captured the moment. And I think now it's to the point was like whatever I can do to get some kind of notoriety off of this situation. And it was like the people who are making the most impact are doing it silently.
Yeah.
And they're not broadcasting it. I mean, except for us because we loud about it on this radio station.
Unless like I said, I get conflicted on occasions because of the fact that there are those who are doing it for clout. And clout alone. But there are somewhere legit have a true passion in it who are being highlighted. This is what they do on a consistent basis.
Right.
But for the clout chasers, I want to see the same energy a month from now.
Facts.
Yes.
And
When
so,
this is over,
even if they decide to bring Juneteenth on Jefferson, when Juneteenth is over, you still better support Golden Cup Coffee.
facts.
Still better support the Challenger. Still better support the Ink Spot.
All
So
that.
you better rock
Up
Jefferson
and down.
and support it like it's supposed to be supported. Because if not, I don't care what you bring for this moment.
Facts.
The proceeds of Juneteenth are going to Juneteenth and those that sell product and not its community. Let me help you real quick. People come from New York. They come from out of town to come and be at Juneteenth here.
Yeah.
Argentina is huge.
It's one of the third largest Juneteenth in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I think it's number
Well, it
one.
might be one. It might be. It just very much might be. Third was just safer. But
I was just showing the post.
The vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we have
I looked and I see that, and I am on two ways. Because one is I don't like the bastardization of something that was worked for, right? But at the same time, I have a deep need for it to be, you know what I mean, commercial, right? Because if it's not commercial, no one cares.
Right.
No one sees it.
It's not
You know,
I won't
even
move it.
white people not gonna white people,
Now that I know that it's
white people not
there.
gonna celebrate Juneteenth if it ain't at Walmart.
they got people. What was that?
No, and I'm saying because I've seen they have whole party packs for Juneteenth
Oh, for
at
sure.
Walmart.
Right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I got
So,
you. Absolutely.
But they made it a federal holiday.
Fire 716, your boy Big Frank. You're locked into Big Frank in the morning. It's going down. The conversation's getting hot and heavy. Getting hot and heavy. Listen, the conversation right now is really about Juneteenth, apparently, and we turn it down a little bit. The dialogue here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Apparently, people are using Juneteenth for their own personal gain, but Walmart is now selling Juneteenth ice cream, and it's causing an uproar.
Yeah. It sounds delicious in theory. It's like a red velvet cheesecake swirl situation. So my taste buds, in theory, is kind of like, this is probably delicious.
They should have put peach cobbler in there.
Right. They should. If they was gonna go black, they should have went black. Like
Because we play music.
Sure. You mean they should instead of going just regular black?
But like, it's becoming an uproar now. It's like people are uproaring about it now because first it was the Juneteenth T-shirts selling at Walmart. Then it was the ice cream, and it's like, but then you're selling. Feels like the only reason why you're doing this as big as you're doing it now is because it became a federal holiday. But it became a federal holiday for people whose fault it is in the first place.
But my question, but you know,
like we're the white people are celebrating Juneteenth. You did this.
but you understand, and I think this all the time because are you really mad that they did it? Are you mad that you didn't do it? Because we mad that we don't get acknowledgement. Now we mad that we're getting acknowledgement.
Can't have it both ways.
Like, come on, like, really, what's the problem? I get the uproar, I get it. But watch it, all white folks. Let me help y'all. To get freedom, we needed some of them. We did have abolition. Thank you for being a friend. So on our way to freedom, we had to go sit in some White Houses. Okay, to get there. So I'm not gonna knock them all, but a lot of y'all, we know the system. But it's like, are you mad that you didn't come with the idea to promote this? Because you waited to Juneteenth. Is that the month of Juneteenth to celebrate Juneteenth? Right. Like, where's your shirt at? All my people making shirts out here. You never thought to celebrate Juneteenth? You never thought to put that shirt together? Now,
the uproar with the T-shirts is because there are black businesses that have been doing Juneteenth T-shirts, and it was like, okay, nothing. But then Walmart is like.
So watch this. So now I'm gonna say this: you mad that you didn't make it to the stores? Have you tried? Have you gone? Have you made an attempt to get in the section at Target? My girl Zaria, makeup girl, she do not Zaria, Z something. Makeup? Zendaya has went and decided, how can I make this pop-up shop t-shirt makeup into stores? Have you tried? Yeah. So before you get to yelling at me about the situation, what attempt have you made? I get it, but have you made the attempt? Have you matter of fact, it's just not even copyrighted. to be in this spot? Have you taken in ownership to next level? Have you taken the next level regarding your stuff? JQ Juicing. If somebody get in there and take every flavor I got and get in there and start killing it, how mad can I get? Number one, you stole it, you trifle. but you can't copyright recipes.
That's a fact.
Right.
But now you're out here executing what I should have executed, but I didn't take the step.
Well, I know with Black Empower, they've been advertising juice. I think most people, the uproar with the ice cream is like, okay, y'all doing a lot. Like the appropriation to things, it's got to stop. Like, but like I said, I'm conflicted because I kind of feel like it's delicious, and I want to try.
I want to go get some. Like we definitely might have to.
I know, because I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Tell her. I had it.
I bought it already.
Good.
One, I ain't mad at the Walmart necessarily for wanting to make money.
Because the Chinese making it.
Fine. Right. Fine. You know what I'm saying? My issue, is that you did something and my issue is that you made a Juneteenth ice cream with flavors that you feel Black people like. Right. You know what I'm saying? Facts. What makes it worse is that I'm pretty sure you had the flavor already picked out, and then you was like, you know who really like these things? Niggas do. No, for real. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it Juneteenth. Let's make it the Juneteenth flavor. You know what I'm saying? Let's put red, black, and green on the thing, and we're gonna sell it to the niggas. You know what I'm saying? And my issue with this is because it's like almost everything else. I hate the feeling of picking cotton. I hate the feeling of picking cotton. When you do stuff like this, you make me feel like I'm picking cotton, and I don't like feeling like I'm picking cotton.
What if they asked the one token Black person that works for like, what flavor do Black people like? Red velvet?
Because my mentality is red one. You said the thing is red velvet
and cheesecake.
Don't make no dang system.
She just said it.
Because the same stuff you make with cheesecake you put on top of a red velvet cake. It's the same thing. Okay.
Where's the peach cobbler?
It's the same everything.
Where is the lemon pound cake flavor?
Come on. She really said it. She says
Pet ice cream has peach cobbler ice cream, and it's good.
Listen,
where is the fried chicken and pound cake flavor?
No.
Where's the salty sweet?
No. Like I said, my issue ain't the flavor. My issue is the cotton picking of it being Juneteenth and the color scheme on top of it. If you just came with the ice cream, fine. I want everybody to try it. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I like Walmart brand ice cream. Mm-hmm. No problem. Sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to pick cotton with you.
And don't put me on a great value. Where's Perry's? Okay.
Right. I was like, you didn't link up with Turkey Hill, Perry's,
not the great value.
like Briar's, nothing. You gave us the great value version of Juneteenth. Thank you.
It's because everybody else is like, yeah, you know what? If it was me, like they'd be shooting me down after I came up with this ice cream.
Because Walmart got Black employees.
Yeah,
right. They got Black and brown employees. They just like Briar's was not feeling it. Like, it was like our products are all natural.
In other news, Nick Cannon and Kiki Y are being blamed for the infant shortage. They just keep having babies.
Like, and that was mad because the Black community really is saying like it's their fault. Like at first I thought it was a joke until I looked into it, and like Black people are really like, because of y'all, there's an infant shortage.
Unless they going out and buying millions of dollars of infant milk a day. It's not there.
Because, I mean, we know Kiki got 11 kids, but, I mean, Nick got 17 kids.
My thing is, you can only drink infant milk for so long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you got like 2 years, year and a half. Like, then you know, bro, like, I don't want no milk no more, bro. You try to pour in the regular time.
It's expensive anyway. Right.
If you wasn't getting these free handouts during this little movement, it's a dub.
Unless you can't do it, because there are women that can't. If you could produce it, what's your problem? I understand it takes time.
Get your pumps.
I understand it takes time, and I understand it's aggravating because I've seen it and I understand that it's a taxing thing to do.
A mosquito bite is aggravating.
You know what I'm saying?
Breastfeeding is painful. Like, I'm gonna be that female at this table who has never had kids but no people. Like, breastfeeding is actually very painful. It's not as glamorous as it looks. So
But
that's
you
why.
know-
And
you know-
some women can produce.
Yeah,
They
some
can
women
produce some milk, but they can't produce.
They got lactate cookies. They got
Some of
stuff.
some of that stuff does not work, and so like they'll be like, you know what?
Keep letting the circle air, and I get you. Your body will be like, shh, you gotta show up with something. You're killing me.
There's a bunch of dudes at this table. Sometimes it doesn't work like that, and that's why they go for Infamil.
No,
because it's like some women can't produce.
They got goat milk. You know, we got
almond milk.
Almond milk.
You can't do that to a baby, though.
But it's the nutrient, the natural nutrients in breast milk. Infamil kind of substitutes.
It's
so that's why people go for Infamil if they can't do.
If you get that baby some cow milk, that boy they can be strong. Built like a rock, they gonna come out digging it.
This is why I need more female co-hosts if you're watching.
So on my live, Chinese said if you can pump breastfeed, you can't. I heard that breastfeeding shouldn't be painful, allegedly, and it's the positioning of the more than off. No, that's the real estate positioning because now I'm a man. Okay. Breastfeeding is painful, but it's the latching on of the baby.
Right.
But pumping is easier. Okay, so you know, but the baby get the taking you clean out, and then if it's not latched on properly, and you got more of your nip than your buzz, okay, yeah, I'm a father, but
I see.
I was in the room. Okay, but definitely. With that being said, so breastfeeding, yeah, man, trust the Lord.
Wow.
Hey, good morning. Listen, musician Bernard Wright died at age 58.
Yes, so who do you love?
Hey,
Oh,
you for sure.
Yes.
He passed away at 58.
He transitioned.
And we have three U.S.
Three graduations that were stopped because of shootings, and three different shootings on the same day at three different graduations.
My goodness.
And also they're trying to. I know this is probably not relevant, but they are also trying to overthrow Roe versus Wade right now.
No, I thought they already did. Did you see this?
It's not fully overthrown, but they're in the process of overthrowing it, which I frankly think is trash.
Gotcha.
And if for those who don't know what Roe versus Wade is,
It's
basically legalizing a woman's choice for abortion. So they're trying to overthrow that now, saying that they're trying to make it illegal for women to have abortion.
The main point is that it's other things too, but that's the main point of it all.
Listen, for that conversation, watch us on Facebook. We'll be back. First 716 Radio with local news and our final thought right on First 716 Friday morning.
I think that is strictly. I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I know you ain't supposed to say it online, but I'm saying it. I think it's retarded. Okay, because it's the first I came to mind. So that's why I said it. I know I shouldn't say it, but I should. I'm gonna feel. I don't care. Anyway, for the simple fact that for the biggest three things is one, you know what I mean? If you're not ready to have a kid, and as a man, and I'm gonna speak on this from the man perspective, if you ain't ready to have a kid, but you like, nah man, we don't need Roe versus Wade, you know that means now that you gonna have this kid, right? That's what that means. That's one. Two, you're making it harder because now for people that know that they're not going to take care of this kid, you know what I'm saying? Now they can't even opt out to not have it. You know what I mean? And then three, you know what I'm saying? Y'all creating, you trying to take the rights away from somebody that has nothing to do with you. Like having a kid, you were involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You were involved. Not saying you don't have no rights to no kids that you put in somebody, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I mean? It is her body, it is her choice at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like if not saying it's right every single time because there are many instances where I do not agree with. I don't agree with having abortions in general, but there are many situations where But how I feel about abortions has nothing to do with how abortion should be because I don't have abortions.
I feel like at this point, if you have a penis, you shouldn't be part of this.
And I don't want to be.
But on the flip side, let me say this. Let me finish. I'll let y'all talk. Let me finish.
I was about to say something.
It's because at the end of the day, yes, it's a woman's choice to keep the kid or not. I believe that some women have been raped or molested by people. And having the child is do I agree with it? No, but having the child for them is trauma.
Okay,
to take away their right to not go through this mental space is definitely wrong.
And I agree.
And yes, there are some men. It's like, listen, I'm not ready to be a father, and the woman can be like, I don't want to go through abortion, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you make this illegal, you're going to put more women at risk to die because they're going to have to go to illegal places and do it, and then they're going to put themselves more at risk to die. And I think it's dumb. I think that's dumb.
So, trauma, I get you 100%. But at the end of the day, if you decide to lay down with a guy and don't at least try to convince him to put on a condom, you're foul for that. And then when to turn around after you're pregnant and talk about abortion, you're wrong for that. If the guy says, listen, we not having protected sex, and we both know this, I'm not ready for no kid. But at the end of the day, if you decide to have that kid and he decides not to be involved, it's not on him. He told you what it was. I'm not ready for no kid.
If you're not ready to have a kid and you want to raw dog, you don't need to be having sex.
No. Here we go.
Absolutely. But at the end of
both ways.
You have a voice. If you don't spit out your mouth and say,
if y'all both agree to raw dog it, you can't be mad if she get pregnant.
You can't be mad if you don't uphold his responsibility.
Because what happens now is this is where your beef comes in. I get you need to go through a trauma process to get an abortion, period.
For sure.
What happened, what occurred, how did this happen, go through that process, bam, then it's okay, and it needs to be vetted. Facts. I hear you. Because for you, because somebody said it on here, because abortion will only affect you.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's your body, whatever. Because you get pregnant and I want to have a kid, and I want to raise him, but you decide because it's your body, it's not. I got trauma too.
Facts.
So trauma alone ain't enough for me.
Facts.
Number one. Number two is, don't stand if you want to. You can opt out, but I can't.
Facts.
You want a kid, I don't. You want to keep it, I don't. But the moment I say I don't, now I got to finance.
I'm irresponsible.
But every woman is not like that.
But we're not talking everyone. Everyone is not everything.
But to take away the woman's option, governmental. I'm talking about not on a personal level, on a governmental right to say a woman cannot make a decision. To say the woman cannot. I think it's crap.
I think the woman is better because if you're a hoe,
exactly, she should.
And you are bounced. I got people who got 6, 7 abortions
in a month.
Back to back.
Listen,
ridiculous and out of control.
Legit.
But I get trauma. I get these things. So I'm not saying don't take it away. What I'm saying is I got some people, and I hate to say it, that I know who have a monthly subscription to the clinic, which is unacceptable. You keep doing this.
Yeah.
You've been 6, 7 times in 3 months' time. And I'm not telling you.
Like Sharita said, and I agree with her, I don't agree that birth control should be a form of birth control.
Right.
I'm not talking about them women.
No, for sure.
You and your own population by yourself. I'm talking about the government making a decision
to have to
because if it's an at-risk pregnancy where both people can die, I feel like you don't have the right to say a woman shouldn't be able to abort that child. What I'm saying is if a person was raped or molested and don't want to follow through with that because of how it can deal with them, looking in the face of the person that raped you as your baby, to be like, oh, you can give it away. Some people can't make it to that mark. Yeah. I feel like the government does not have the right to tell somebody you can't get an abortion. And then, like I said, putting women at risk that if you were raped, if you were molested, now you got to go, like if 4 colored girls go to the red door where somebody is doing it improperly, putting you at risk of dying because the government said you shouldn't be able to do this. That's why I said if you got a penis, shouldn't say nothing about it.
No, because the man has a right too, because
I'm talking about not in the room where the government is, not personally.
No, but even personally, because you have to understand that too. That all men aren't dogs, and some men want family.
Legit.
And they do things to make a family happen. and then she decides I don't want, that hurts me too. That's traumatic to me too. Sharita got a statement
She
on
said,
it
but
as
the
well.
government is male dominated
It is.
by
For sure.
right-wing enthusiasts who make decisions on behalf of women. That is wrong, and they are wrong. They
100%.
should not have a say in these matters. Period.
For sure.
I disagree to you, Shrita. They don't have a say so because you have to take the influence of both. I get it. It's your body. That's still my seed. It is still. I still feel as a man. I feel the type of way while you're carrying. I know it's your body, your tempo. So to dismiss me is wrong all the way. Now there should be more women in the room than men. Exactly. I get it, but you have to. You can't. You got to involve us all in this. And I get what America is and all that, but I have to say so too.
But there's not a lot of men that actually say, like, I'm gonna just be honest, being a woman and being around, I'll say this, integral women who have gotten pregnant. There have been more men telling these women, I don't want that, get an abortion, than, hey, keep it.
Right.
And I want to keep, because there's a lot of women, if the man says, hey, like, keep, if you don't want to keep it, I'll take it. They will actually give the child. Now, there are some raggedy women that's like...
Right, but and that's the problem we have is that there's always so many variables.
Right.
So I believe in the vetting process before abortion, not just because I said I want one.
I'd rather risk having frivolous people that are the exception than risk having people dealing with legit medical issues, dealing with legit issues like out of that, because you can't really control and legislate morality as easily as people think.
Right.
So I'd rather have people that are taking care of things the safe way and with their decisions rather than trying to catch all the fouls.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I just think it needs to be vetted.
Like,
What's the reason?
That's the thing.
Because let me pause for a second.
Are making these, like, the governmental office that are making these decisions is because it's like, this is our stance and we're going to make this illegal without actually, this is why I love Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because she would, like, her perspective was, we're not saying like she said, use abortion as, birth control. But what we're saying is to take away a woman's right to have this option given circumstance. We're talking about serious circumstance, not you being a thought, you being a slut puppy, but real circumstance where if this woman gets pregnant, the mother and the child can die.
I think that is a medical. Yeah, I think the motivation is different for me because I think medically, if it's life threatening, let's get this out of you. We got to go for health reasons. But I also understand that while we're talking trauma, that the process of killing a baby is traumatic.
Right.
I've been in relationships with women who have, and the guilt. They both trauma goes both ways.
Right.
It exists. So I don't think the right to take it away is proper at all. But I do believe that there needs to be a counseling conversation before an abortion goes forward. Where you at mentally? Where we at?
But this is all. If we want to do political, let's do political. If you want to limit the number of abortion, then put it in healthcare. Put it like if there's if this is how you want to legislate it, don't completely overturn Roe versus Wade, but put some stipulations on. If people are using it medically, then in medical insurance you only allow this many amount of abortions through healthcare, and the rest of these is coming out your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, Lucky Moore says, "I agree that it's your body. Nobody should make your choices for your body. It's mama, baby, papa's maybe, so men don't really have to say so. We know it is 100% the woman's baby. Men always think it is." Mark Jess. Hold on. Sharneezy says, do they offer counseling to women prior to carrying them out? But I guess that would have issues with it too.
Sharita said between a man and a woman, that is a decision between the couple, not federal government whose interests are not pure.
Right. And that's where I was getting at when, I'd rather sort of have people figure it out and sort that out at that level. It's not, it's not in the interest of the people specifically that are dealing with it. And they can't legislate that realistically because it's such a high level decision.
All right, read this time before we come in.
She said, I agree with Jess. Put it in healthcare systems as a checks and balances system. But at the same, I will say this at the same time, that there is counseling pre-abortion and there's counseling services offered afterwards.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, yes, there is.
Yeah, and I think that there should be. They're not always taken.
Right.
Now, I done drove to the clinic. Fire 716, your boy Be Frank, locked in to Be Frank in the morning. Listen, it's going down this morning, and for some reason, don't ask me how. I believe that it is God's will for us to discuss these things at times. Because I don't know how we walked into this door. How did we even walk into?
Because I said that the government is.
Your fault.
Because I said that the government is trying to overthrow Roe versus.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
That's a hot topic.
Can you read that comment again?
Which one?
The first one you read.
Oh, the one that Kevin didn't like.
Yeah.
I agree that is your body that one? Or your mama's baby?
Mama's baby.
It's mama's baby's papa's maybe.
Okay, foul. It's only papa's maybe if you live in foul. There should never be a question as to who your father, the baby's father is. And if the baby is that man's child. You get what I'm saying? So if that be the case, sit down somewhere and close your legs, Miss Sally.
Right. Yo, Nuki, you want to come on? Come tomorrow. We
talk
crazy.
crazy.
You can bring it back up, definitely.
Great.
So,
But I did say, like, for those who have not downloaded the app yet,
right.
And that haven't downloaded the Facebook and YouTube, I did say that if this is something that the government wants to do, I don't think they should abolish Roe versus Wade. I think that they should implement it in the healthcare system, that you are only allowed a certain amount of abortions a year,
Sure.
and after that you are paying out of pocket. After that,
Sounds crazy.
No,
it sounds good. No, it's
because
real,
if
but it just
somebody
sounds
is
like
having like 15 abortions a year, we are. If you have 15 abortions a year, okay, 1 I get, 2
Yeah, I got you. I see you.
situation, 3 strikeout. Like, after that, but I just
Can you imagine giving somebody this is my punch card?
But no, I don't agree with the government overthrowing this, especially because let's just be honest, some of the politicians, y'all might want to keep that because y'all out here hoeing.
Right.
And y'all about to having some babies, and she goes like, "Oh, we can't get abortions. I'm calling you out."
You out here 67 years old messing with these 20, 30-year-old women.
Right.
Trying to hide it with money.
So we gonna
hide DNA.
We gonna hold this conversation because apparently Nuki Boy is gonna come sit with us tomorrow.
It's all crazy.
We gonna talk crazy. It's
on Tuesday.
It's going down. Listen, my word today. Listen, Erie County Jail Deputy Robert M. Dre indicted for sexual charges for sexual. That was a terrible entryway. But for sexual charges for sexual contact
with an inmate. So he has been indicted. He's facing charges because he was out here sleeping with some of the inmates.
Now, if those women want abortions, go get them. Right?
But now, in theory, that would have been good if it wasn't a sexual guy that they were saying.
That's different though, because that's say like he had the sexual. He got charged for having sex, not necessarily having sex that's not consensual.
That's not what
I'm saying.
But even still, you
but look, no, I'm saying don't get me wrong. You at work. You shouldn't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, I don't know.
Erie County Jail.
It's Erie County Jail. But it also goes back to that transgender person that's in the prison.
That's moral ethics.
That's impregnating all the female inmates.
It's a weird moral ethical thing. You know what I mean?
So he's being indicted because he's a deputy and he's not supposed to be sleeping with inmates.
Right.
Male and female.
So would they be wrong for getting abortion?
You keep bringing up this abortion, bro.
Once
those rains drop there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
Let's just go now. And there was a fatal crash yesterday on Agri Falls Boulevard. The motorcyclist lost his name has not been released to my knowledge. That's happening. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's been wild crazy. But listen, you only got a few minutes left, y'all. Let's do a round table. Give us a word. You see everybody that have a baby not a parent. That's a fact. But listen, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Nuki,
pull up, please.
I'm sending you the Addy. Pull up 8 to 10 tomorrow. Listen, real quick round table. Let's get words of inspiration. Start with my boy Josh, the architect. Yeah. Give a word of inspiration.
So for me, the only thing that came to mind when we're talking about fear and fighting in the process, there are no plateaus, right? When you're in the process, there's no. You may feel like there's a time where you can chill out and just coast on the horizontal, but it's always an upward movement or you're rolling backwards. So I guess I encourage everybody to keep fighting, for what you're called to do, but also just keep walking in wisdom in that and keep going. Don't stop, because you don't want to find yourself back, rolling backwards.
Speak black man.
Listen, that was that rolling up. If you're not rolling up, you're rolling backwards. If I preach it, so. Daniel the Dark Knight used the word of inspiration.
All right. My thing is, whereas everyone goes through metamorphosis, but not everyone pushes to be a butterfly. When I say that is when I say that is that we all go through change, but some people decide to stay in that change, not to come out of it. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to become that butterfly. You know what I mean? Don't stay in metamorphosis. Don't stay because the world changes. Yeah. So you have to change. You know what I mean? But you don't have to stay in change. Eventually you gotta come out of change and go and fly and be somebody and be who you need to be. Right. So go out, be that butterfly. Don't stay in that cocoon because you're gonna look stupid like everybody else.
Jay Cherie, y'all talking good now. I ain't got that.
Don't speak about something if you are not in the room where it happens. Mm-hmm. Because you can have your own narrative, but until you are sitting in that position, keep your mouth closed.
Gotcha.
Every opinion is not valuable.
Exactly.
Come on there.
All right.
He like one fish, two fish.
So I'm gonna piggyback off my boy Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Fly. And don't be afraid to fall. Because if you don't fall, you'll never know what it's like to get back up.
Talk black man.
So don't be afraid to fly.
My God, here we go.
Go ahead, make it work.
Put it on the shirt.
Big wheels keep on turning. Proud Mary keep on burning.
Yeah.
And we
rolling.
And we
rolling.
And we
rolling on the river.
Forward movement is the only option.
Come on.
Listen, at this point, I've looked back enough. I've seen too much. My only goal is to, like my guy Josh said, forward movement. Or you're rolling backwards. To change, to be transformed. I'm making forward movement. I can't worry about conversations in places I ain't been in because I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
Forward momentum. I'm going to a place, and despite what I've been through and where I've been, that's not where I am, and that's not where I'm going to occupy. It made me, it shaped me, it pushed me. I'm going to the next level in life, with or without you, period. Proud Mary. I'll let y'all. It's your boy Big Frank. Follow us on Radio Fire 716. Also, download the app Fire 716 Radio in your app store. Download it now. It's going down this morning. I holla at y'all. It's been good. It's been real. Tomorrow, Talk Your Talk Tuesday. No holds bar. Like
except for cussing. Hey. No cussing on the radio station.
I'll let y'all. It's going down Fire 716 Radio. All right, y'all. Extra. Make sure y'all follow us. I'm gonna put the
about to mess around and get us canceled because you out here dropping F-bombs on the radio, bro.
So yeah, we still alive.
When they come to white people,
I need y'all to follow us on our page. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. This is what we do Monday through Friday. Pull up. Download the app. New key. I think you pull up and pull up. Thanks. Love y'all. Peace.